So welcome to this segment of our mathematics videos as we continue with index notation. So I'm now going to do some practice questions. So these are some of the questions that have appeared, in the ECZ exams, past papers, Examination Council exam. So you can see we are going to apply, the laws of exponent that we looked at so that we are able to solve, such, concept. So let's try to do these, quickly together. So the solution there, the question says evaluate. So all these questions we are focusing on evaluate. Now they want you to give them the actual value, when they tell you to evaluate. So for example, the first one there says that -1 raised to the power 0 multiplied by 2 raised to the power 3. Now if you remember, there's no law of exponents that actually states that, so you can work them out individually. -1 raised to the power 0, remember that rule, when any number is raised to the power 0, it is equal to 1. So therefore -1 raised to the power 0 is simply a 1 multiplied by, what does 2 raised to the power 3 there mean? Or 2 raised to the power 3 means 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2. In other words, the base should be multiplied 3 times. So when you multiply that, please, no need of using a calculator. These questions did appear in the paper 1 question, so we are not going to use any calculator. So 1 times 2 times 2, 1 times 2 is a 2 times 2, 4 times 2, that is going to give us 8. So that was the solution to that question. All right, let's look at the B part. The B part says 3 raised to the power 0 multiplied by 3 raised to the power 3 plus 3 raised to the power 1. Now of course, if you notice there, because these have the same bases and you're multiplying, there's a rule that does apply. We said if you have a raised to the power m multiplied by a raised to the power n, you get the base. If the bases are the same, get the base, then you add the powers. So that's what we can do for this one here. So it is going to be 3, and that is going to be 0 plus 3. But remember there it says plus 3 raised to the power 1. 3 raised to the 0 plus 3 will give us still 3 raised to the power 3 plus 3 raised to the power 1. Is there any rule that talks about addition? The answer is no. So what you need to do is that you need to work these individually so that you can get the solution. So that is going to be 3 raised to the power 3 means 3 multiplied by 3 times 3, whatever I get, plus 3 raised to the power 1 there simply means you're just multiplying 3 by 1. That's what it simply means. In other words, you only have 1 3. So 3 times 3 times 3 there, 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 3 will give us 27, 27 plus the 3 that we have there coming from 3 raised to the power 1. All right, so this plus that is going to give us a 30, and that becomes your solution. So please, you should observe, it is not always that you're going to be using the laws of indices. No, sometimes you can work them out individually so that you are able to get the solution to the question that they have actually given you. If you look at the C part there, the C part there says 27 raised to 2 over 3. If you remember the meaning of m over n, we did say the one at the bottom will become the root, whatever root it is, the base will go in the square root, then whatever you have should be raised to the power m. And that's the way we are going to treat that one. So the 3 will become the cube root of 27, and the cube root of 27, whatever that we have, should be raised to the power 2. Now what is the cube root of 27? Well, the cube root of 27 simply means, what is that number when you multiply it 3 times? It will give you 27. It is a 3, but that will be raised to the power 2, and 3 raised to the power 2 means 3 multiplied by 3, and that is going to give us a 9. Or alternatively, if you wanted, you could have actually done it this way. You could have written this 27 can be 27 is a can be written as 3 raised to the power 3. then this will be raised to 2 over 3. So what will happen? This and that will cancel. You are going to remain with 3 raised to the power 2. 3 raised to the power 2 means 3 times 3, and that is going to give you a 9. So it's possible. Please remember here it is 3 multiplied by 2 over 3. So if you look at this, can be written over 1. This 3 and that 3 will cancel, and that's why I cancelled this and that. So I will only remain with the 2 there. So that is the basic idea of what we are talking about, right? We can move on to the C part there. The D part there. So according to the D part there, it says 5 raised to the power 0 plus 5 raised to the power 1. Is there any rule that talks about addition? The answer is no. So you need just to work them out individually. So what is 5 raised to the power 0? It will give you a 1. Any number raised to the power 0 is a 1. Plus 5 raised to 1. Remember, if you have a number raised to 1, it will give you that same number. So it will give us a 5. 1 plus 5, that is going to give us a 6. Don't be tempted to start adding that, because that's the common mistake. The reason is simple, because we are adding. There's no rule that talks about addition. Let's look at the E part there. The E part says again 8, 2 over 3. Again, that 3 can become the cube root of 8, then whatever we have raised to that number that we have. The cube root means, what is that number when you multiply it 3 times? It will give you 8. It is actually a 2. 2 raised to the power 2. 2 raised to the power 2 means 2 times 2, and therefore that is going to give you a 4 as your final solution that you're having there. Right, let's look at the F part there. The F part there says that 18 over 16 raised to negative 1 over 4 plus 80. That is 81. So 81 over 16, again raised to the power 0 there. So if you look at this one, any number raised to the power 0, that will give you a 1. So therefore all this is going to give me a 1 plus. If I look at this one, if you remember the rule that I told you, if you have a over b raised to the power negative n, to get rid of that negative, what do? You simply flip what is inside. It is b over a, then that raised to a positive index. So we can get rid of that negative by simply saying it will be 81 over 16 raised to, in this case, to get that rid of that negative, so you flip what is inside, so it will be 16 over 81, then this raised to 1 over 4. Now, of course, according to the rule, if you remember that a raised to the power 1 over n, that would mean it will be the root of a. So we can write all this and simply become as the fourth root of 16 over 81 plus 1. Now, what does fourth root mean? Well, if you notice here, you can separate them and say the fourth root of 16 divided by the fourth root of 81. Well, the fourth root simply means, what is that number when you multiply it 4 times? It will give you 16. That's what the fourth root means. It is actually 2. If you multiply 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, 2 times 2, 4, 4 times 2, 8, 8 times 2 will give you 16. That's the fourth root. It's a 2. Then the fourth root of 81, we mean when you multiply 3 times, it is simply going to give you 81. What is that number? We can try 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is a 9. 3 times 3 is a 9. 9 times 9, it is 81. So the fourth root is a 3. So the fourth root of 16 over 81 is simply a 2 over 3 plus this one here. So now we can actually work it out there. That is a simple algebra that we have. So we have 2 over 3 plus 1. Remember, 1 can be written over 1. Any number can be written over 1. We find the common denominator there, which is a 3. 3 into 3 is a 1. 1 times 2 give me a 2, plus 1 into 3 is a 3. 3 times the 1 on top there is a 3. So this and that will give you a 5 over 3. Now, when the question says evaluate, you cannot leave your solution as an improper fraction. You leave it as a mixed fraction. 3 there, can go there 1, remainder 2 over 3. So this is the final solution that they wanted you to get. I hope you got the concept of, this question there. Let's look at the G part there. So the G part there says x raised to the power 0 multiplied by 2 raised to the power 0. Remember, any number raised to the power 0 is a 1. So x raised to the power 0 is a 1 times, what does that mean? It means 2 times 2 times 2. And of course it would be 1 times 2 times 2 times 2 give us 8. 1 times 8 will give us 8. So that is the way you can go about it. Please ensure that you go through and you do your practice session. Thank you so much for watching.